welcome back to Dr. Walls and Friends with Dr. McCoy Deh. And so you have about 6 months left in Ghana this time.
This time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's on the agenda for this 2020?
Well, I'm going to continue my teaching commitment.
Yes.
I'm not sure which classes I'm teaching yet for the spring semester. But I'm hoping to teach fewer classes and focus more on my research.
Okay.
And I'm working on some projects that are forming as a result of my time so far.
Okay.
So one of the requirements as an affiliate of the Institute of African Studies is to do research.
Yes.
So my Fulbright is a teaching Fulbright, but they're like, well, you're with the Institute, so you will do research.
Yes.
I said, yes, I will. So I had to give a research presentation last year, and it forced me to continue to develop my research agenda because I haven't been full-time faculty in about 18 years.
Oh, wow.
I started out as full-time tenure-track faculty, and I switched over to administration.
Yes.
So in my permanent role, I am the director of the Philadelphia University Honors Institute at Jefferson University.
Oh, that's how they get it in
Jefferson.
there. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Philadelphia University is still attached to the Honors Institute, and it's at Thomas Jefferson.
Got it.
Yes,
Got it.
long mouthful. So I'm an academic administrator.
Yes.
So I teach as part of that responsibility, but it's become more and more administrative over the years. So I'm not required to do research and publish, although I do. So this allows me time to really do that.
Yeah.
So what I've worked on is revisiting actually my graduate work around identity affirmation.
Nice.
But I'm looking at African identity affirmation in African American literary projects. So I looked at two of the projects I already have published.
Yes.
One is a children's book that I authored because my husband and I decided to give our daughter a traditional Ewe name.
Yes.
And, people had their feelings and thoughts about it. And I just wanted to get ahead of that for her.
Yes.
So the book is called Akofa, which is her name.
Yes.
And there are 4 stories, and it's kind of a baby book that you read, like a nighttime read. But there's 4 stories inside, and all of them talk about, she spells her name, she tells what it means,
Yes.
she acknowledges that it might be unfamiliar to you, and you can get to know her anyway and learn it, say it, and spell it. She talks about where it's from and what it means, all of that.
That's beautiful.
So
And what does it mean?
peace after a stressful time. It's actually from Exodus. In Ewe.
Yes.
So I don't know the specific chapter and verse.
Okay.
And people will tell you different variations of what it means, but peace after a stressful time.
Nice.
So that's just what we needed. Because I was a beast during the pregnancy.
Okay.
Sorry, honey. So, sorry, not sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So that's one
That's
book.
one. And then The Search for Susu is a co-authored novel that was set partially in Philadelphia and partially in Accra, in Ghana.
That.
And this was published back in 2015.
Wow.
And we chose Ghana because we're like, where have we been recently that we can write a really thick description?
Okay.
And so I said, well, I was just in Ghana last year. So that's how that was decided. We knew our character was taking in a fellowship abroad. We thought about Portuguese, but do you speak? I mean, we thought about Brazil.
Yeah.
But neither of us spoke Portuguese. And I had been to Brazil, but it had been some years. So we decided on Ghana.
Okay.
What came out of that book was the character. It's kind of a higher education coming of age novel. And she's trying to kind of weave together who she was as a woman, as an African American woman, and who she wants to be as a professional, as an intellectual scholar. So, she has a trauma that she creates on her own. It's all her fault. We didn't want to make her a victim.
Yes.
She ruins her opportunity, but she gets to stay because she is kind of a budding star.
Okay.
But ultimately, she does this work and she shifts and relies on the scholarship of African women around the continent to inform work she does with African women who are trying to find redemption from shame.
Okay.
And they call them these comfort conversations.
Oh.
And it's something that she just thought to do for herself and for other women she met.
Mm-hmm.
But the word of mouth spread,
Yes.
and it kind of became this
Wow.
big thing. Oddly, when the book, not oddly, but wonderfully,
Yes, that's right.
when the book was published, our readers really resonated with our
Resonated with
readers.
them.
I mean, people were like, oh, I was crying or this, and I'm like, okay. And we
Yes.
heard from even some clinicians who said, I'd love to do this outside of the clinical setting. We need this. Our community
Wow.
needs this. How do we
Wow.
partner with you? So initially in my gender and cultures course, I was hoping to find in some of the readings something that would nod to me whether or not shame was at all gender, certain types of shame was gender specific there. And I asked one of the faculty members who's an expert, and she's like, and she said, I think you'll have to do some empirical research on that. Super smart people, you know. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it myself. All right, fine. So that was one thing. But in sitting in all these workshops and learning and meeting all these faculty, one other thing came up for me, and that is a lot of scholars outside of the Western countries have difficulty getting published in American and European journals, right? So if you need an international publication, peer-reviewed journal publication as part of your tenure dossier, and you can't get it because they don't understand your approach, don't acknowledge it, don't know anything about it, don't value it, that can impede your progress in your career.
Yes.
And so I thought, first I said, I want to develop a platform for an international conversation. We'll start with Ghana and Black women in the U.S. around our intersectionalities, professional, personal, whatever. Then when I had this conversation with the faculty member who had trouble getting published, although her work was very well received in person here in the U.S., I thought, we need to start a journal that acknowledges what is unacknowledged. Because I said to her, you're going to keep giving this talk. And somebody else is going to publish your idea, and all of a sudden it's brilliance. And they're not going to cite you. And if you're as close to your work that'll take you over the edge, and you can hurt somebody. You know, it's like somebody stealing your.
That's your baby.
Stealing your children.
Creation.
I said. And I said, there's a lot of us out there who have that issue. And I said, well, why don't we do that? So people who are therapists, and, because we have to unpack all these issues that are culturally specific.
That's right.
So with design, with all of them. So that's something I want to start pulling together a team and start designing. I can't get that done in the next 6 months, but I want to just kind of pull together a team to work on it. Yeah.
All right.
That's my big rock that I'm going to start. Trying to get some gravity on.
Nice. Well, we thank you so much for taking this time out.
Thank you.
Yes, it's been a wonderful discussion. And then what we'll do is we'll list your books at the end of the show. So for people who are interested in purchasing your book, where can they find your book?
Amazon. The Search for Susu is co-authored by myself, Marcella McCoy Deh, and Tracy Lewis Jiggets, 2 G's, 2 T's. And you can find them on Amazon in Kindle version or hard copy. Hard copy.
Yes.
And someone said we're on not Audible, but Whisper. So I guess when you buy it, you can listen to it. But we did not record it. It's not our voices.
So it's not your voice.
So it's going to get that.
Okay. Well, maybe that's something to look at, going into the studio and doing the recording.
It's on our long list.
Okay.
And we're working on a sequel. And then I have a fantasy fiction project that I'm working on, and the traditional religion course has been super helpful. I'm sitting in on that course, and I'm like, oh God, I'm giving my characters have specific properties now. Oh, I'm learning the relationships of the networks of different. So I've been writing that book for probably 10 years, only have 5 chapters written. But I want it to be awesome, which is, of course, a death trap for any writer. But I've committed to finishing it in 2020.
Nice.
So
You know what I like? I like how all of your worlds are coming together. So you have that journalism piece, so you're still able to write. You have that research piece that started long ago that's now back in the space. You have that teaching piece as well. And then you still have that student piece within yourself where you're still learning and growing.
And you know what's weird?
What's
that
that?
was a very nice wrap up, and I'm sorry to reopen
It's
the
all
con-
right. Go ahead.
Our character and Susu, our main character, that's kind of her journey.
Yes, it is.
And I'm like, well, I'm not intentionally following her, but we wrote that, and I said, okay, this is. And at some point, we had a third co-author, and I'm like, and it started writing itself.
Yes.
And I said, okay, I'm gonna follow this. This feels right. I'm kind of doing a Francine right now. Dr. Francine Cardi is nudging me along, or we're, you know. So yeah, that it's yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They say where art and life meet
art
up.
imitate life, and life imitating art. Yeah.
So we will see where this journey goes
Yes.
in your life as well as in the life of your books.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Thank you. I am too.
Yes. Well, thank you again.
Thank
Safe
you.
travels back.
Thank you.
And we're not sure where we'll see her again, whether it'll be here in Philadelphia, in Ghana, or who knows where else.
Who knows where?
That's right.
Where in the world?
Yes. So until we meet again and until we see you again, continue to live your greatest life. God bless.
Walls and friends. Dr. Walls and friends. Dr. Walls and friends.